Hello, welcome back to my channel. It feels so weird saying that. So this is going to be a collective reading for Gemini from now to the first week of June. And just kind of tuning in, I immediately felt like you will be having either a third eye activation or a crown chakra activation. There's just a lot that just kind of felt like it lit up. So that's really, really good. Also, overall, this might be really short actually because this reading felt really good. The only card that I was really kind of concerned about what I picked up off of it from, that was not a good sentence, was the Emperor card. This is actually the first card that came up, but this one was also followed by the Ten of Cups in reverse. And the reason why I felt a little weird about this one was just because typically the Emperor is like related to like finances, like the boss energy. And while I do think that you may be like in your power to some degree, I get the vibe that there is something that you might still have an unhealthy attachment to. And I say that because he looks a little angry. He kind of feels a little bit angry, at least like in this spread. And I think that the anger might just be something that needs to be brought to your attention, or something that you might actually already be aware of, that needs healing. I do feel like this is related more than likely to maybe your attachment style. It feels like some sort of attachment wound might be triggered or might have been triggered over the last couple of weeks. Also, there's like rams all within the chair, so it's kind of letting me know that there's some stubbornness around probably working through whatever might be coming up with this energy, or whatever has been coming up. And the reason why I say that it's probably related to maybe your attachment style, if you're not familiar with it, there is a book that I recommend often called Attached, and the book cover literally has magnet on it. 10 out of 10 recommend. You can also YouTube attachment style theory, and you will find a great like 5-6 minute video about it, in order for you to be able to kind of dig a little deeper and see what that might be about. But it felt like something related to your attachment style because of the Ten of Cups coming out in reverse. And you can see here there's obviously like upright. It feels really good, it looks really good. Also, don't pay attention to my nails, I did it myself. I need to do them again. But upright, this would overall be like a really joyous energy, and it can be looked at and felt several ways, but the way that it feels like for me is like there is a wounded inner child that is kind of like knocking at your door, like demanding attention. And I think that you might be noticing this in maybe just feeling like frustrated out of nowhere, or maybe easily irate, or just randomly irate throughout the day, maybe over the last couple of weeks, maybe between your interactions. Like you might notice when certain communication doesn't go your way, you might just be like quick to anger, quick to get kind of triggered about something. And please keep in mind again that I often speak in metaphors, so the severity level might not be the way that it sounds either. So it can be really any level of this, but it feels like there's something triggered around your attachment style. Now if you open yourself up, and if you allow yourself to kind of get vulnerable and dig into maybe the discomforts of where you might not have received the type of love and attention that you needed when you were younger, if you kind of dig into that discomfort, I do feel like it'll open you up. Sorry, I need to crop that out. I probably won't, I'm too lazy. And I also don't know how to edit. But I'm recording this just before a reading, and I just got a little reminder, so I'm like, okay, talk faster. Don't rush yourself through this process, because clearly when you try to rush yourself, you stumble and you might fall a little deeper. So open yourself up to feeling all of the discomforts that you might be holding in your body. I do feel like you feel it more intensely in the back, maybe around your knees, and probably around your ankles. So if you're constantly having issues in those parts of the body, please take some time to kind of dig into this. The card that followed the Ten of Cups in reverse was the Sun. And this one did come up right, which does let me know that you more than likely will be willing to kind of get uncomfortable and dig into whatever might be behind these first two cards. Again, take your time, don't rush. It will be uncomfortable, but look how bright that sun is shining. That shit is beautiful. So I feel like coming into the summertime is when you will start to feel a lot more free and a lot more relaxed. And then the following cards that came up for you were the Hanged Man, the Ten of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. This one is a little, but these two, come on. So with the Hanged Man, I do feel like if you dig into this, you might be more aware of your role to play in certain relationships, and I think you might kind of, it almost feels like, it feels like the curtains kind of roll back and you're just like, oh shit, like this was my fault too. And I say that because it feels like there might have been a lot of like finger pointing, or maybe a lot of avoidance of accountability. And I say this just so that when you do become aware of it, so that you don't beat yourself up over it, because we don't know until we know, and we can't know until we dig deep. So don't shame yourself and don't be upset at yourself if you become aware of how you might have continued certain cycles, how you might have contributed to them, and how you might have kind of set yourself up for continuous lessons. Because it feels like, if I wish I can explain this the way that I'm seeing it, but it just feels like you might have dove into something and then maybe there was a lot of self-sabotage that kind of got in the way. And I think you might be ruminating over that when you do this inner work. But please notice when you start to get stuck in like a certain thought process or get stuck in a certain story, so that you can remove yourself out of this Hangman energy. His hands are free, and really there's nothing tying him to the tree. Like his foot is kind of pointed up, but he's not tied there anymore. He's not linked there anymore. So the only thing that's needed more is to kind of release himself, to release yourself of the burdens that you might have placed on yourself, and of the emotional weight that you might feel when you start to dig into this. Doing all of this work, of course, I would, again, I'm just going to go back to the Sun card, but please focus on your attachment style, on healing any type of early attachment wounds. That way you don't self-sabotage, and that way you don't repeat those same patterns and potentially self-sabotage another relationship. I do feel like the joy that you seek is awaiting you. And I say that because in the Ten of Cups, this dude is just sitting there like, you ready? What's good? So he looks damn good. And then followed by the Ace of Cups. There's just a lot. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of abundance, and there's a lot of self-confidence that comes from digging deep and getting rid of whatever discomfort might have been coming up with the way that the Emperor card felt. So I think that there will be a lot of healing around your romantic relationships. I think that your romantic relationships up until this point might have been a little hot, a little cold, a little chaotic, maybe a little unhealthy. But digging into our earliest attachment wounds really helps us transform our relationships as a whole. Yeah, that's all I got for you today. Take your time. Be willing to get uncomfortable. Don't rush through something, because you will stumble just like I did over my words. I hope that this is helpful in some way, and please remember that I will never DM you on Instagram for a reading. My only Instagram is Mountains by Melody Ann, and you can book a one-on-one with me on my website at www.theholistichealer.org. Thank you.